right, welcome back to Wave Talks, podcast for Wave Electronics, where we deep dive into technologies and trends and products around the custom integrator space. We're in Dallas today. My guests are Hoxsey and I got Jason Heim. They're both Jason, so we call this one Heim and this one Hoxsey.
Hoxley.
No. Did I really?
That's an old joke from another company and turned Metro.
So some people
vendor.
will laugh.
Yeah. Well, because I'm called Hoxsey all the time. Yeah. I don't know where the L comes from.
It's all right. I heard down here that up here, we're north. I heard it's Mark Fukuda and Ainslie.
Ainslie.
Okay,
I'm not saying who.
I'll write that one down. I'm happy to make fun of Ainslie all the time. Absolutely.
So listen, before we get too far off on the silliness, let me introduce these guys for real. Jason, branch manager for the Dallas branch of Wave Electronics. Can you tell us a little bit about your history, how you got here?
Started in the business in '96. Met Mr. Heim in '07. Worked for the same company for a little while. I was working for a different distributor at the time, and I get a text from him after we worked together and says, "Hey, we need you here. We need some help." Yeah, so I got over here almost 9 years ago. Wow. 2015 is when I very first got started.
Heim, how about you? What's your story?
So started in '07 into distribution, background all retail. Met Hoxsey at that time, and we've been basically work wives ever since.
Yeah.
But I've been here for 12 years.
Yeah.
It'll be 12 years in September.
Wow.
So
He left me for a small stint. Wave obviously made him a nice offer, and it was at the time probably better for his career at that point. So I was happy for him that he was moving up in the world. And
we had a good.
I was sad I couldn't come along, but I had my own thing going that I had to take care of, and
sure.
Then we ended up back together again.
He let me cry on his shoulder.
He did. I mean, that was an emotional
moment.
time. It wasn't, because we had worked together for so long.
Yeah.
At that point, he didn't want to leave, but it was better for him to come here.
Spending the week in the Dallas branch, it is really clear that the dealers in this area, both that the branch serves and on the peripheral, for the customers that can't really walk in, Elura Audio is it. And It's been a big hit. Maybe you guys can talk just for a minute about kind of the history of Elura Audio and how it became so prevalent in your market with your customers.
So it's made by, we designed it all. The Fukudas actually are the brainchild behind all of the Elura speakers and the Elura amps. Their background, they're big-time SQ car audio phenoms. They basically designed it. It sounds better than most other speakers that are out there because it's got their touch on it. And we police the Elura brand and make sure it's not being sold on the internet.
If we happen to see, we have people looking online, obviously, and if we see anything sold below what we see as retail, we find out who it is. We'll buy it from them. We'll find out who actually purchased it and cut them off. We have secret ways of figuring out how to find you.
Secret ways. So even if somebody thinks they're getting away with it, they're really not.
It's 2024. We have our ways.
Yeah. Hawks, anything you want to add to the kind of the philosophy of how Elura became so big?
The reason we have so much trust in it, obviously, is Ainslie and Fukuda. Their background, they're very, very detail oriented. Yeah. So they're not going to just say, "Oh, this is good enough." This is good enough. It's not going to work for Ainslie, especially because Ainslie is very anal. And so we know when a product is produced, we know it's made to their standards, which are up to here as far as their standards go.
Sure.
So, it's when it's easy to drink the Kool-Aid when they come out with something. Except for screen clean. We had, how many screen cleans did we get? We got like pallets.
20,000.
We got pallets of screen clean. We're like, what are we going to do with this $5 can of spray?
It's funny. I hadn't talked to Mark in 20 years, and I got a box for Christmas.
And it had screen clean? Yeah, well,
that's like 20 bottles.
I would call that, I wouldn't even call it a failure. It works, because I actually had a customer bring in a TV once. He's like, there's shit all over my TV. I wiped it off. I sprayed. I couldn't get it off. Hold on, I got something for you. I brought out a thing of screen clean, sprayed it, wiped it down, completely clean. The dealer goes, I am so embarrassed that I took this TV off this customer's wall, brought it up to you, and complained to you I had a defective TV when it was just a smudge that clearly my guys put on there.
It's interesting as a segue.
Yeah.
The Fukudas always kind of focus on, there's the problem. We see it.
Yeah.
We see the thing that we don't like. What's the solution?
Right.
And so as I learned the entire line, black label, blue label, red label, now we've got green label with commercial for the 70 volt
Absolutely.
installs. And then all this amplification to run all of these products, it's all solution based.
Well, so we start off with the black label. That's our entry level contract series.
Okay.
No crossover on that guy, but man, that they jam. If you want them to jam, they jam. Stepping up from there, you go to the red label. Crossover on the back, as you can see. All of the Elura speaker lines are magnetic grills. So
And we overdo our magnetic grills. So the reasoning for that,
Get it off.
Yeah.
the reasoning for that is so there's no vibration or rattle when the music's playing through there, because that would be the most annoying thing. So
you got your pivotable tweeter as well. So once you get it up in the ceiling, you can aim it however you would like.
Can you see that, camera guy? Probably. Yeah, that's great. So if it's a rear fill,
Yeah.
or if it's off in a corner and you still want
Or you want to angle it towards the listening area there.
Yeah.
And then you go from the red label up to blue label. Blue label is made by Sonance. We partnered with them to design our blue label. Probably one of the best selling speakers we've ever made.
it is.
Again, pivotable tweeter.
Yeah.
Likes power.
Yes, loves power. We've got one dealer that's got 30 pairs. No, I'm sorry, a total of 30 S8s, which is the 8-inch version. This is the 6.5. In his house, it sounds like a club. Yeah.
Which he's a commercial audio guy, so he wanted it to sound like a club. But the only problem is he's married. So therefore he can't demo it like it should be demoed.
yeah.
So he's like, turn that down.
Can you talk about the
Dog
what
legs?
I see is the dog legs for the install?
Yeah, it makes it a lot easier. You just cut the hole, throw it up in the ceiling, and then screw it down, and they'll pinch between the sheetrock and the baffle of the speaker, and
Got
it's
it.
good to go.
The great thing about those during CEDIA in 2016,
Yeah.
look, we have all these speaker manufacturers out there. Wave being a distributor, it won best architectural speaker. Credit to the Fukudas on that one.
We didn't have any out, and we've done a lot of conversations about the 70 volt line, but that's also brand new. Again,
Right.
Here's the problem, and let's solve it. We've got pendant full range, we've got pendant subs, we've got in wall, a couple of different series
In ceilings.
in ceiling.
Yeah, then surface.
That's my favorite speaker.
Killers.
That
That's-
thing. Every dealer that walks in here, when they open their car door, they're like, I thought that was coming from a vehicle somewhere around here with a system in
Yeah.
it. And yeah, those 8s pound.
Yeah, and listen, if you're a dealer in any of the areas of the Wave Electronics branches, you've got to get down there because they've done installations that are, I think, every SKU.
Every SKU's up and running now.
And it's all controlled on the iPad. Heim's got full control. So to the point, when you walk up, you hear Wave Electronics. It's a small nightclub right out front.
Yeah.
So far, no complaints for you.
That's what we're going for. So
correct.
we tune it up every little bit again to see one somebody finally like, hey, can y'all
you
turn this
please
down? We
turn
can't
that
even hear our own selves think.
Yeah. Let's talk about all of these speakers need power, right? The speakers tend to get the fun, sexy story because they're out front, people touch them and see them. Amplifiers tend to either be in your equipment rack, doors closed, or literally in a gear rack in a closet.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of amplifier solutions. So, let's just hear kind of the philosophy of these models and walk us through it.
The one thing that we strive to do is make a small amplifier that would fit in a 1U space, which you can see all of them do. They are digital amplifiers, so they run actually very, very cool. Every
just
one
turn
of
these
our
around.
amps
Go ahead.
has rack ears,
Yep.
and our 50x2 here, there's a rack kit that you can buy for it that puts those side by side.
Okay.
So it's basically the same size as one of the other amplifiers, but it comes with this rack kit comes with rack gears
Nice.
that you mount to the side, and then you can basically fit it in the same
Just
hole.
makes your rack look a little sexier.
And so you end up with two of these in single rack,
Yep.
but 4 channels.
On one you see, yep.
Right. That's cool.
Everything comes in the box. You get your Phoenix connectors on the back that are detachable. a lot easier for installation because they can screw those things down and not have to actually screw them down while they're attached to the amplifier. All the mini to RCA inputs for every one of the channels. If you do have one of the multi-channels, 2 global source inputs on these, so you can actually play the same thing on every channel just by a flip of a dip switch. So let's say you want channels 1, 2, 3 to play a Sonos port throughout 3 zones in the house, and you don't care to listen to anything else. You can do that for those 3 zones, and then the next 3 zones you can flip to B, and they can be listening to something totally different in those other 3 zones.
Got it. So a large house, big party. You've got one music source at the pool.
Yep.
On a different system. You've got something else in the house, and maybe if the food prep is going on, you could have a whole nother zone in the kitchen. And so then talk about all the different configurations. I mean, where does somebody start if they're a brand new dealer that hasn't started, kind of experimenting and doing system design with Elura amplifiers?
It starts with a 50/2 2-channel, 2 by 50 watts. Perfect for a powder room, a closet, maybe even a small study where you're not really wanting to jam out and you're not wanting to, pound the windows. That's where it would start. From there, you go up to the 150/2, which is probably our best selling amp.
That's as of 2023. That was our best selling amp. The 500 by 1 was up there as well with it, which is surprising, being that it's an amp. But you sell, for every sub we sell, we should be selling a 500 by 1 to push it.
Or if you're just wanting to run full range, it'll run a couple pairs of speakers at 150 watts. Make some jam.
What about warranty on Elura amplifiers versus what's out in the competition?
So everything that you see here in front of us is 2-year over-the-counter exchange warranty.
Wow.
So if one of our dealers ever has an issue with it, they can bring it back to us and we'll basically give them what they give us. It's a heck of a warranty. The majority of warranties on amplifiers that I know of is just
a 1 year.
Single year, yeah.
Speakers are a little bit longer. That's almost a case.
Limited lifetime on the speakers.
So
that's pretty important. All
it
4
is.
series?
I mean,
all 4 series.
All 4 series, lifetime warranty. Wow. Depending on whose life. Yeah.
Right. So Ricky's life. No, we're not going to cover Ricky's life.
Right.
He's been living way too long for us to cover that.
Hawks mentioned the 501. That is our subwoofer amplifier. It is low pass only, adjustable crossover, perfectly made to drive our in-ceiling 10-inch sub,
Got it.
bandpass 10.
2 of them.
2 of them, yeah, and or the in-wall dual 8.
Yeah.
One of the dealers yesterday commented that the 6-channel and the sub amp is kind of his basic. I think he said the Sonos port, a ring, those 2 amplifiers, sub in the ceiling.
It's the KISS method. Keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah.
Because I can see these being added later, so the homeowner gets the house designed the way they want it. It's all done. The bid's out. They all agree on the bid, and they're starting to do the installs. And then all of a sudden they're like, you know what? I wouldn't mind another couple speakers over here. Well, you're already maxed out on everything that we spec'd in, but you just bring that guy up, run a couple pair of speakers, and call it a day.
But my all-time favorite is our 100 by 6. That is our 3-zone, 6-channel, 6 by 100 amplifier. The first multi-channel amp that we came out with. Most versatile.
Here, right?
Yeah, most versatile amplifier that we have in our lineup. The nice part about the 6-channel, and we have a lot of dealers that are actually doing this, it's perfect for one of the outdoor systems, whether it be Proficient, whether it be Sonance. You can actually drive the subwoofer off of the 3rd channel or the 3rd zone, and it's bridgeable. So you can actually get 200 watts out of zone 3 to drive a subwoofer, while your zone 1 and your zone 2 are taking care of all your staked speakers, if you'll call them that. It's also perfect for a little 2-channel, 2x1 office setup. So a lot of our dealers have offices and they want sound while they're in there working. So that amplifier takes care of that. You could put yourself 2 tower speakers, whether it be Martin Logan, DefTech, even our bookshelf speakers. You run those off of channels 1 and channels 2. Then you take the subwoofer out and then run it directly to either the in-wall dual 8s or the in-ceiling sub 10.
So I understand the 6, very versatile. Tell me about the 12-channel.
So your 12 channel is basically made for whole house audio. and it is a dumb amp. There's nothing smart about this amplifier, but if you're trying to run 6 zones of audio, kitchen, outdoor, bedroom, office, nook, you name it, that is your go-to on that. It's only 50 watts a channel, so it's nothing. I mean, don't get me wrong, it sounds amazing. If you're just wanting good whole house audio sound, when you're entertaining, you want the same thing playing in all zones, you can do that. As I mentioned earlier, on the 150x2, it has 2 global inputs. So again, same thing. You want to listen to something in these 3 zones, separate from these 3 zones, you have that capability by just hitting a dip switch.
Well, Hox, anything that we missed?
I'm just impressed with the whole Elura line setup that they've done. Ainslie is anal, so that just gives me comfort when it just makes it easy to sell. It's just the way it is, because it's when you have that kind of quality, and I know he spends tons of time designing, going back and forth. I know he tests it at his house for however long it takes to make him feel comfortable the way it sounds before it comes to us. Rarely is it ever ready, shoot, aim.
Yeah.
I know it's tested, so when it comes to us, it's fully done. Nothing to worry about. Hit the road and start selling.
And even when we do take a return on these, they are sent back to our corporate office and they're meticulously tested to see, okay, what made this fail?
Sure.
Is it something that the dealer had hooked up incorrectly? Was it something on our board that just failed? And they document all that stuff. So on other batches of these, when we have them built, they can correct some of that stuff.
It's fun selling this stuff because when we hear the stories when they come back. When the first time somebody buys something, you're like, man, that's my customers were amazed at how great it sounds, and that just makes us feel good that we're actually helping some of these younger dealers that are new to the business find products that's not necessarily a Best Buy product. These are all CI guys and custom integrated product for them only. Because we get a lot of pushback. My customers never heard of Elura. I was like, good. Bring them up here. I'll give them a demo. If you want me to close the deal to your customers, I'm happy to do it.
It happens all the time.
I show pictures of I got them in my house. I'm a customer of Elura, and it sounds amazing. And the customer's like, oh, okay, I understand now. And when they hear, they think we're the experts, right? You get the text come in, they're the experts. But when you have the guys actually talking to the end consumer, the reason why we have all these showrooms is for them to bring it in. Let them listen. I know not everybody's heard of Elura. Fine. Yeah. But once they come in and hear we're a real company, Elura's a real brand in the market, it makes it so much easier for them to sell. And I wish people would bring more of their customers in here, because it's just going to make them feel that much more comfortable when they start hearing the product, how good it sounds. We can put it up against other brands, and they're like, oh, no, I hear the difference.
And we've given our dealers another tool in mstrbrand.com. So like Hoxsey was saying, when their client goes, what's Elura? I've never heard of Elura. Well, they can go to this website and see all the specs. They see a retail price. It's not like a counterfeit off the wall, white boxed.
Fell off the back of somebody's truck.
This is an actual brand. And
Heim, anything else that came into the back of your head?
I'm so glad that we've got a commercial line now. I mean, it's new. It's the thing we've been talking about all the time, but it opens up a revenue stream for not only our dealers, but for us, because we haven't had it to sell.
Sure.
I mean, we've had Atlas, but 70 volt is going to allow you to put pretty much as many speakers as you want in a commercial environment. Let's say a bar, let's say a restaurant, church, something similar to that. We now have the ability to put and build and develop a system for our dealers to take care of their needs now.
So what you do is, as far as 70 volt goes, it's just a daisy chain. Yeah. So you're not having to run speaker wire back and forth to the receiver or whatever it is. Now you can just go from here to here to here without having all these random runs. It makes installation for something larger than a house that much simpler.
We're trying to take the fear out of our home dealers, our residential dealers. They're scared to death of 70 volt. And I'm like, dude, it's so much simpler than even 8 ohm. I was like, because you don't have to worry about impedance at that point.
And I think that's what I heard yesterday, because I think of, 10 or 12 dealers that I got to engage with and hear some testimonials. Every one came out of mobile.
Yeah.
10 years ago, 15 years ago. So the world was teaching us about series and parallel. And so I think in a simple, I did a nail salon. you could figure out series and parallel, and the amp would be super hot,
Yeah.
but the system would run. But now you want to put speakers in a bathroom, speakers in a kitchen, speakers in a reception area, speakers in the actual bar, subwoofers that are tucked up into the ceiling. Now it's a whole different beast, but it's still the same product. Amplifiers and speakers that operate at 70 volts. And we have all the tools and the experience on the floor to walk people through it.
Yeah, and that's something we didn't talk about was this 70-volt mixer amp that's going to be coming out
Right around the corner.
right around the corner.
Yeah.
It's 500 watt.
Yeah, 500
single
watt,
zone,
7
mic ducking.
Yeah.
Seven.
That's exciting to have as well.
Literally everything somebody needs to do the big nail salon.
We can make it happen. In distribution, you want to make it a one-stop shop the best you can.
Yeah.
This just adds another level of our one-stop shop, so we can get, because all guys do both resi and commercial a lot of times, right? So they could have both jobs going on at the same time. Come here, pick it up all at once. Time is money, right? Yeah. So they have techs coming in making $20, $30, $40 an hour, whatever it may be. They don't want to be running to each location to pick up this. I don't want to go to Kroger and then Albertsons, then Walmart. I just don't want to do that. I want to go somewhere where it all has it in one place, and that's what Wave has to offer.
Well, thank you, Hoxsey,
Yeah.
Heim, Parvin. Thank you for listening. Any of the podcasts that you've heard, this one and any of our previous episodes will be on Wave Electronics under Wave U. You can find everything there. We've also set up an email, so if you have questions for these guys or you want specifically to ask a question for a future podcast, wavetalks@waveinc.net. Thanks again for listening, and come on down to Dallas, meet these guys, hear the commercial demo, check out all of the Elura, and go to any other branch. They also have the commercial demo set up, ready for you to audition.
Smash that subscribe button.
Right.